Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're making something really special, a vintage style specimen card using just one index card, some dry flowers and no laminator at all. It's beginner friendly, super budget friendly also, and the results look like something out of an old apothecary drawer. This is a part of my index card ephemera challenge. We're keeping things simple, creative, and beautiful, so let's get started. You will need one index card. I'm gonna use this size, but you can get other bigger one if you want to. You're gonna need ink and distress and this distress ink if you want to give this specimen card this vintage style. This is optional, of course, you don't have to use it. You are gonna need some stamps. I'm using all of these to create this beautiful thing, so I stamp in the back to give it a more realistic style. You're also gonna need some ink to stamp around. I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna stick with the vintage photo distress ink. I'm also using tea for this one. This is just tea, and I have this bottle that is gonna allow me to spray some water. Then glue, of course. This is optional. You can use a corner puncher. I like using this, so but it's optional really. Of course, you're gonna need scissors. You're gonna need a bone to fold. You're gonna need a ruler. I love this one. This is because we're gonna be working with dried flowers. I do recommend having tweezers. To me, this is a must-have rather than an optional. An X-Acto knife or scissors. I like using this because it makes the process easier. I'm using also a hole puncher because it makes it easier for me to cut this. I'm gonna show you how in a little bit. And then you're gonna need a pencil to mark, and of course you're gonna need dry flowers. I'm using this one that I have in this container. I have these very beautiful flowers. They don't look like that much, but in reality there are hundreds of flowers here. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna start by getting our card, and I really love this vintage kind of index card. If you have the regular white one, you might want to add some more ink, distress ink, or you can alternatively tea dye this one too, or you just can keep it in the way that it looks like too. It's always, you know, variety always makes it beautiful. So what we're gonna do is just fold it in half, and then I'm gonna use my bone to make sure that like it's very well folded. We want this to happen. Okay, so it's like this, and then this is the only moment that when I'm gonna use this puncture, and I'm gonna go through the four corners just because I like the rounded corners instead of the straight ones, but you really don't have to do this. Alright, the second step is creating the window. This step is quite easy when you have index cards because all you have to do is deciding what is the size of how many lines are you gonna do, and then how far is gonna be from the edges. So for this card, which I like very much, I decided to put 1 centimeters on each edge, and then I left the red line, and then I went 2 lines down, as you can see it here. So we're gonna do the same thing. So you just leave these 3 lines and you start measuring in this line. I'm gonna go ahead with the same measurement that was 1 centimeter. So I'm gonna put my ruler right here. Oops, and mark it here, and then I'm gonna leave 3 lines at the bottom, and then again mark it here. See, I have the marks, and I'm gonna do exactly the same thing with the marks in the other side. All right, now that you have this marked, you will have to cut it, and for that it's the only moment we're gonna need this hole puncher. I love doing this, it's very fun. I found this trick in Instagram. So you go with the hole puncher and you just make a hole right there where your dot was. You can put it inside, outside, however you want. And then you just go, and those, for this one, you're not gonna be able to get there, so you can, I'm gonna use my X-Acto knife. Be careful when you use this because you can cut your desk, and I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna just make a cut over here and a cut over here. So I make this one, can even cut this, doesn't matter actually because we're gonna cut this anyway, and so it's not really that important that this goes out in a ugly way. There you go. And then you again get your puncher and get the hole right where you plan it to have it. And there you go, you have the hole in there, and then you go to the other side and you got the hole again. Okay, now that you have all the holes, it's actually pretty easy. You can, at this point, I think you can use scissors and it's gonna be just fine. It's super easy to do. Okay, we're gonna get, I'm gonna use my X-Acto knife again, so we're gonna get our mat so we don't destroy the desk, but let me put it in place. So we do this and go to the very edge of the circle, okay, to the very edge, and then go with your knife. I made a bad cut, but it's okay, we're gonna live with it. And then to the other side, and again make sure that you go to the very edge, very far edge of the circles. And then you repeat the process all around the 4 corners. The reason because I make the horses because look at how beautiful this corner is. It's kind of rounded corner versus the square one. It's time to distress this, and we can distress all the way in the corners and in the inside of the pocket, just because it's gonna be looking beautifully. And so we go through this, and then again in the inside of the pocket. Really love this one. So when we go around, you can go, and then you will have distressed the back, and then again in the back of the card to be consistent with the vintage style. We do the same. And that is it. And now we can start with the stamping process, which is very straightforward. I have all my stamps here, and we're gonna just alternate between black and vintage. So I have been using this one, stress vintage, but probably I'm gonna use this walnut one instead for this card. And then of course I'm gonna use this black one. So for the black one, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that everything is very well pasted. The ink is well applied, and there you go. I really like this one that is registered. I think I used this one in the back. So we're gonna go to La Belle France and here, and then we can apply this one that is Juliet, and then we can apply this in the right place. So it helps a lot that this has lines, and I made a mistake here. For example, the figures kind of stamp, and I put that in the wrong position. We're not gonna make that mistake again. Nope, that's not the right one. So we can read here figure 1, 2, and 3. There you go. Yep. And then we're gonna use this one in this bird. It's beautiful. And then you can go to the back of the card. That's what I did. Now you don't have to put anything in there, but I really like doing it. I really do. So we're gonna, I will do it. I think it is very nice to have something like this. And I have been thinking that in the back I probably don't need to change colors either, so I can close actually this and have it like that, and then I can have this registered thing over here instead. It's gonna have a different kind of look, but it's totally fine with me. Yeah, I just realized that I forgot to say a very, very important material that you're gonna need for this project, and that material is packing tape. Because we're not using laminator, we're gonna have to use packing tape and a piece of plastic. I really don't know how I forgot to mention that, but it's probably the most important and magical materials that you're gonna need. So you're gonna need a piece of plastic. Okay, I got this piece of plastic, and as you can see, this one has tea stains. What I did was, using this, I just will spray a little bit, and if you don't have a sprayer, it's actually even better. You just grab a couple of dots of tea, you put it close to the window and let it dry. When it dries out, it's gonna look like this. And I like it because it gives you this effect of the flowers with the stains, and I love it. You might not need it, but I love it. And this plastic, I got this from a packing material. So this is basically something that I got from a sticker that I bought some long time ago, and the package has this plastic. I just cut it out and I got it. So what I'm gonna do now is getting this plastic inside. Before we paste it, just double check that it's the right side, because if you want the tea stains, the part that where the tea dried, to be in the inside of the, so it has to be like this in my case. So the teeth right in this side of the plastic, so I'm gonna paste it like this. So when something happens to here or I move it or whatever, the stains don't go away, okay? So to do this, we're gonna measure, because we need it to be in the side of this, and I'm gonna use my pencil. I'm just gonna mark the four corners of these. I'm not gonna go all the way, so I'm just gonna go through the corners and then cut a tiny bit bigger than that, okay? It is really hard to see for you, but I can totally see it. You see, in the plastic it gets some marks, so I'm gonna go through these marks and I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. There you go. This is one. The other one goes from here to here, and the other one goes from here to here, and that should be perfect for my plastic. See, and it just fits. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to cover the window in this way. Okay, the next step is you're gonna need a piece of packing tape. You can use regular tape, but packing tape is always better. A small piece of packing tape should be enough. I usually let it fold a little bit and then I paste it to the mat itself, and I don't know if you can see it, but the mat itself is gonna hold this tape, and I'm sorry that you cannot see that, but now you can see the tape, right? I folded the two corners in the back and now it's held by itself. Oops, it should not be there. Oh, totally, I almost messed it up. Okay, so you see that it fits totally inside of there. And now is the moment when we need the tweezers and we need a lot of patience. So I really love these yellow flowers because they have a very intense color, as you can see. I love it. I love how intense the color is. So I'm gonna try to keep it in the way they should be, okay? And then I'm gonna add some more of these purple flowers on the sides. And I have a ton of them, so it's not really hard for me to put them around. I could add green, certainly, but I'm not sure if I want to do it. I'm not gonna use that one. And I can do more of these purples because I have a lot. I even have white, very delicate, kind of a, oh, it fell down, so it's okay. We embrace it. We embrace those things that happen. And then we put this one, not that one. We have to put one more in there. And as you can hear, I have cicadas in the backyard. I probably will cut the stem of this one, and it all depends on what is the composition that you want for your slide. I want it to be almost seamless. There you go. I love how it looks like, and I think this should be enough for me. It goes right in the middle. Okay. So this one is my glue to put this on top of this. Again, I told you that you have to be very patient with these, and it's because, there you go, you want to put it kind of seamless in there. Okay, now everything has been pasted. Your flowers are not gonna move. They are secure there now. Okay, and now you can take it off. Cut the tape almost to the shape of the plastic. I know it's super hard to see in the video because you cannot see the difference between the plastic and the tape, but it's very important that you follow this step because the tape is gonna adjust to your, it's gonna attach to your specimen stamp. Okay, it really depends on how is the size of your window. So just try to locate or put your flowers in the way that you want it to look, and then adjust your tape around, and that's it. It's applied, and it's out applied because you got the plastic smaller than the tape, so the tape is holding it to your specimen card, and if something is left, you just cut it. And this is how it looks like in the front part. And I love these things. I love them. I love them. You might not, but I do. And so all what is left to do is go ahead and get your glue, go all around, and this area, and that's it. Just something that I like doing is I go with the bomb for the last time, and that's it. You can paste the stuff, you can do many other things. This is just a very basic idea because today's a day when I'm returning again to make some YouTube videos, so I wanted to do something easy, something that is beginners friendly. So I really hope that you look how it turned out. Now you know how I made these vintage specimen cards. Let me know in the comments if you try this. Tag me if you share it on Instagram. I love to see what you make. And thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me in the junk journaling sessions that are upcoming. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.